My dear friend, I'm going to talk to you about the bespoke retreats or individualized retreats which I teach. And excuse me, I have lost my voice. It vanished somewhere this morning. Not quite sure where it's gone, but I don't quite have it. I suddenly found out. I'm going to tell you what happens on these retreats, which I've been doing for about 8 years, and which, so far as I know, they're the only individualized retreats that happen anywhere. And for many years, I used to do retreats for about 20 people until one day a person came up to me and said, "Serge, I wish I could do an individual retreat with you, and so I had more time to spend on all the issues I have." So I thought, well, what a good idea. So as a result of that, I've invented my individualized retreats. So let me tell you what basically happens and why I think they're rather necessary in terms of this pandemic and this crisis we're going through, because for many of us a lot of issues are coming up. We may have lost our jobs, we may have lost a certain part of our identity, we may have lost a loved one, we may have gone through a big crisis, we may be needing to reinvent ourselves. Perhaps all sorts of issues that we've sort of managed to put aside for a long time are suddenly coming up, and we say, "Oh my God, I really didn't realize I had to deal with that." So a lot of stuff is coming up because these are dark times. Humanity is going through a dark, dark night of the soul, and there's a lot of pain and sorrow, and a lot of us need a lot of help. And the advantage of doing a retreat, and people come and stay 5 to 10 days with me, the advantage of doing a long retreat is that you have an ongoing process. I'm a transpersonal psychotherapist, and I work about an hour a week with most people. So then you begin your process, and then you don't start it again until the next week. If you do an intense retreat, you can be with your process the entire time. And what I've discovered is that people in a week most people spend about 5 to 10 days, but a week is usual. That most people find that in a week, a lot of their issues have been dealt with because it's intense. We work intensely. So I'll just tell you the form. You are interested in doing a retreat, you email me and we talk on the phone, and you see if you like me, because our getting on is really important, and I see if I can help you, because that's also important. And then you decide that you like to come. I meet you at Palma Airport. You come to my house, you stay, you get great meals, whatever diet you want. My wife is a fantastic organic cook, and we can have fish or vegetarian or whatever you want. And a normal day begins, you get up, we have a meditation, a hearty breakfast, then in the morning I will work with you intensely. And then we have a light lunch, and then the afternoon we go off into nature. If it's the winter, we will go for a long hike in the hills. If it's summer, we'll probably go to a rocky beach somewhere. And the point is that you're out in nature, because for me, nature is the great healer. Nature is the great teacher. Nature teaches us about our own inner nature, and it's so important to get out into nature. And I've worked with a lot of shamans and and holy men and sort of gurus in my time, and they've always stressed the need of the connection with nature. And sadly, in our modern world, we've lost touch with nature, and so we've lost touch with ourselves. And what I really try to do is to help you out, bring out of the closet your real abundant, loving, joyful self that many of us hide away because we believe in stories that we need to be limited and shrunk, and we need to be polite and toe the line. I am here to help you release the wilder person, to help you free up, to let you let go a lot of all those restrictions that have been hampering and holding you down. Because I think that what we all need to learn is to be more fully alive. And so often we get caught up in our miserable stories. So we're caught up in our materialism, where we're all caught up in our dramas. What would our life be if we didn't have these dramas that fill the space all the time? And a retreat is really a means to help you to let go the stuff, the patterns that you don't need to hold on to, the stories, the beliefs, the traumas that you may have and that prevent you sort of moving forward and being your truly abundant self. And I love doing these retreats. They're a lot of fun. And I promise you that you will get a lot out of them. And when you've finished, I will give you techniques and exercises to do so that you'll be able to continue your own inner work. Because you see, for so many of us, we don't do inner work. We go out to work. We don't go into work. And I'm suggesting that we need to go into work, and that it's very, very important. Okay, my fee. I work on a sliding scale from £950 to £750, but I have never ever been known to turn anyone down because they've got financial issues if their need is really urgent. I will be your friend. I will not abandon you if you've got some difficult financial issues, and we'll work something out, because I know in this time of the pandemic there's a lot of financial problems. I think the last thing I'll say is that I've written 2 books, one called Awakening the Universal Heart, and another called Gateways to the Soul, Inner Work for the Outer World. So the 2 center pillars of my work is the heart and the soul, because my experience is that we need to blend heart and soul and psychotherapy and healing. I believe that spiritual work, which is the work that I do, I will try to help you become more soulful, has to include therapeutic work. If you and I are angry with our fathers, then we're going to project that on God. If we have a pattern inside us that says, I'm not good enough to earn more than X amount, then we ain't going to work. Then we ain't going to earn more than X amount. So I'm here to work with you at many different levels, and everyone who comes will have different issues and different life purposes and different levels. So I adjust how I operate to your needs. I don't lay a Serge trip on you. You've got to do it my way. We find the way that works for both of us. So maybe I'm going to see you on one of my retreats, and I wish you well.